Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta. This is... Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, world. I'm Norman Rafferty.
And how would people know you?
Um, how would they know? Does anyone really know anyone else? I long time ago, I used to review anime for the Escapist 1.0. That's why, recognize my gray hair here. I also work in the toy and game industry where I publish weird stuff like the Vital Hearts, Eumorphica, Iron Claw, and I bandy around some other things, lurk.
Alright. And as returning viewers might notice, we are back again with Legend of the Galactic Heroes. I knew these. Uh, I've shown you the trailer. I don't know if did you actually watch it or did you just go on the descriptions that we had?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
In preparation for today, I've only seen the trailer. Legend of Galactic Heroes has been around for a long time, so I've probably already seen bits and pieces of it. I mean, I'm old enough to remember anime clubs when we used to have those little printouts on dot matrix by fan subs, and you'd have to read them at the same time you were watching the anime. So I've possibly seen Legend of the Galactic Heroes before, but I'm old and senile, so I don't know.
And of course, this is I knew these, which is the 2019, 2018 version. So updated, shrunk. The original one
Yep,
is what 110 episodes, which I think includes the movies and whatnot. And this is what 4 seasons of 12.
probably.
Right.
Uh,
So
I'm, I remember when I reviewed Dragon Ball Z Kai, and people were saying, like, you can't take Dragon Ball Z and cut it down from 391 episodes to only 100 and not appreciate the entire storyline. So we'll try to we'll hang in there. We'll try to do it.
well, I think we previously had some light novel readers commenting that that was the difference between the two, is that you spend more time focusing on the aspects of things that happen, like the politics and whatnot, versus this, which will speed through certain things, and you might get confused about why certain people are in their positions because they get promoted really quickly or whatnot. So yeah, but
We're here to help.
neither of us have seen or can remember, I guess, the 1980s version of the show, so we don't have that backlog to go over. I
No,
mean,
this is a war anime, right? Like in the mold of Spaceship Yamato. Spaceship Yamato is the one I'm more familiar with. Hope I got the title right. I saw it
Space
under
Battle. I
Star
think it's Space Battleship Yamato.
Space Battleship because I saw under Star Blazers. I saw the bowdlerized American version and then later went back. But there's a popular of those naval type stuff. And I guess Legend of the Galactic Heroes is a weird holdout because it would have been just around that era that Macross and other like Gundam's earlier, but around that era when that kind of stuff was taking off, but still, I guess there's still a market for it. So I'm excited to see it, especially when having it come back in 2018, which I assume it came back for nostalgia value, because I don't think the giant squaring off of naval battle type anime was still popular in the modern era. So I'm excited to see a modern take on it.
Yeah, I can't really weigh to that one way or the other. I know. I think this did come out between Macross and Gundam, though. It was Gundam, what, 79, and I think Macross was 84?
Yeah, Gundam is like you it was the real impact of what Star Wars had on stuff. Because if you go back and watch older stuff like Astro Boy or Mazinger, you'll see it's got very 60s type style, like sort of Gucci style, where you've got like sweeping arcs and roundness and that kind of stuff. And the original Gundam, which comes out in 78, 79, just before Star Wars. And when Star Wars comes out, everything in Star Wars looks military, it looks purposeful. There's greebles, as they call them, everywhere as military detail. And after that, everything had to look like that. And that's where stuff like Legend of the Galactic Heroes comes in, because you got vehicle designers. We should have looked up who the production designer was of this before we got started, where the ships in this are supposed to look like military vehicles. I think that's to sell toys, because people were buying a lot of World War II models. And after the World War II models got played out, the company said, well, what can we do? What if we took a World War II battleship, but in space?
It does sound like the pitch for Battleship Yamato, but
That is the pitch for Yamato. And then this, I'm assuming, would be an imitator of that.
I don't know how much what you said, greebles, comes into effect here. Because I know I've heard that description from, I think, Adam Savage. The little bits of shit that they would take from model kits to put on their stuff that they would put in the movies to add effect to make it look like it was more realistic.
Yeah, well, greebling is normal. Greebles are a word for anything that adds visual interest. Like you see this in video games now, where you can't just look at a wall. Like if you get a '90s shooter, if you look at like the first Halo, there's a wall. But now, if you get a video game, it's got to have bumps and little doohickeys and wires and everything all over it. And so that started to happen in the anime in the '80s. Like Gundam's in the middle of that, where the early Gundam ships look like Buck Rogers rocket ships, and then immediately you have that look, that very distinctive look of the robots, where they have the wings that come off of them and the bits and stuff. Or in this case, with the ships, they are modeled them after World War II or even modern '80s battleships. And so any close-up shot has to have a lot of detail on it. And that kind of military type stuff, it's a popular thing. It takes off, and it's high detailed. And this will be a 2018 show, so they've definitely got to have computer and 3D modeling compositing in it. And I didn't see much of that in the trailer, so I really want to see how they're going to go with it. It looks like they're going a lot more traditional quality to it. We were just talking about some of the anime these days are doing 3D, because you didn't review not Bastard, Berserk. You didn't review Berserk, did you?
No. I mean, I've seen Berserk. Bastard was also the first anime I ever bought. Ironic that you brought that up out of nowhere.
Well, Bastard's one of my favorites, but I meant Berserk. But I mean, you remember the infamous 3D
I only
modern
saw
Berserk?
clips of it, and I knew I didn't want to watch it because there's no value that they could have added that would have changed the visual aspect.
Right. I know they're trying to cut corners, so I'm curious to see how Legend of the Galactic Heroes, which is definitely an old school 80s anime, is going to translate. Like, first of all, they're making it shorter, which I don't necessarily have a problem with. A lot of these older shows are extremely, decompressed. So hopefully it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right. I think you've basically stated your expectations for the show in that bit as well. So I say we go ahead and just go ahead and get into it. But before we get started, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below to feed that algorithm. On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered, uncensored, and uncut, as well as some early access stuff, you can check it out over on the Patreon. It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure. It's all to support the channel, just a little bit extra.
It's on sales. I'm already happy.
Yeah, no, I was never unhappy with the animation style portrayed in the trailer, at least. This hits you with the first minute fake out where you think you might be watching the wrong show.
ここに描かれたことごとがあなたの知っているものに近く、ここに現れた人々があなたの知っている人に似ていたとしても、それは歴史の偶然であり、必然である。
Or an inevitability, which makes it different from that thing you get at the very end of every movie. Oh, one thing I did not tell you before, Raph. So we do have to talk over the intro song.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, if you want to listen to it, I can just do something else then.
Well, so they're already going to the well, because one thing a lot of these military sci-fis like to do is go straight to the 19th century imperial era Europe, because first of all, like, look at that. So there's already castles. I noticed they're using Byzantine type heraldry, like the double-headed eagle they really like, which I thought was a Russian thing, but it's actually just a Byzantine thing. So
I think a concept is that a number of planets have themes.
Right. Well, you gotta tell people to draw something.
Well, yeah, I just mean that we're, a whole galaxy of planets, right, of inhabited worlds, so some people just aggregate together under a theme, I guess.
Well, it's you have to produce a show and you have to have people draw something. So it's like, okay, these will be the German guys, will be the Russian guys, will be the French guys. Once again, a popular motif for military sci-fi.
Yeah. Especially if you're doing out of an era, right? People love Prussian military themes.
Yeah, I was already complaining about Xenogears, so... Well, Xenoblade, more properly, but anyway.
Galactic Empire.
Golden Baum. Yeah, let's go straight for the Germanic.
The Free Planets Alliance.
Hi, Free Planet. I wonder if this is an evil world.
Nope, they're neutral. They just said.
Neutral. Indisputably deadlocked. It seemingly goes on forever, but it's indisputably deadlocked.
Well, there's that weird line between the two.
Well, I'm going to call it Weasel Wars.
What's got you laughing?
Just this anime ass opening. I don't think I'll grow any taller. Just now kiss.
I don't know if that is literally their relationship or not.
Well, I don't know if this is going to be clear or not. I always love that trope they always bring up about how if you realistically had a hologram like this, holding in space against no background, you wouldn't be able to make any shit out because there's the background behind it.
Yeah. You'd have to project it against a wall or something.
Or have a screen, but they always do this because future.
Yeah. To be fair, maybe just technology we don't understand.
That's why I'm not an excellency.
Well, it's funny because I'm also watching Crest of the Stars, which is supposed to be like this, but from the other side. By the other side, I mean these people are admirals. Crest of the Stars is supposed to be the people on the ground sort of thing.
Oh, wow. Someone's overcompensating.
The Galactic Empire. What do you want?
How dare you seat me on this ugly, inappropriate throne? I demand twice as much gold.
I mean, that's what I would want, right?
What's the point of leading an empire if you can't have a nice chair?
I mean, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Well, I like the fact they keep saying surrounded by three sides. Yeah, you guys mean on a two-dimensional plane, right? You've forgotten that space is, has an up. And this would be soup, because you couldn't see anything because all the ships behind it.
Look, if Iron Man can do it, I guess the Galactic Empire can do it.
A regrettable loss, as opposed to like those losses that we approve of. They're all over the place. I just don't know how they're theming this.
It's funny that the first guy, not one of the main two characters we've seen, his advice is to retreat.
Ooh, wood panel 4.
Look, it's the flagship. We got all the money we want to make this place look nice.
Yeah.
分散した国の敵に対しては我が軍が数的に優勢だ。これを勝利の条件と言わずして何と呼ぶか。我々は包囲の危機にあるのではない。
Okay, so first I was going to say, so his argument was, you know, don't think of it as being outnumbered, think of it as being a large target selection, because there's 3 of them. But then he points out, yes, they're surrounded us on 3 sides, but we have more people. So our army's bigger, period, so it doesn't matter they have us surrounded on 3 sides. And it's like, wow, he's not wrong.
No, I think you get that backwards.
Oh.
They have more people than he does. He's got like 21,000 ships, I think, and they've got 40,000.
Okay. So he did say that. So he just said, yeah, but they're divided into 3 smaller, you know, legions. So since we're bigger than any one of those thirds, all we have to do is just fight one of those thirds, assuming, of course, they know nothing of formation fighting.
Right. Also, their ship is so big they need a tram.
I mean, yes, but just count how long this goes on. Thank goodness they're telling me all these guys' names. Otherwise, I couldn't appreciate this, but I didn't know he was named Merkatz.
This is why I was talking about that relationship board thing that I made before. Going back and getting all these names and pictures and putting it on a board was a headache.
It doesn't really matter, right? They're just blonde and red.
I will tell you, Raph, just about everybody in the show matters, even if you don't see them for a long time. They come back.
Oh, all soldiers matter. Age 410 years. You know, I was going to turn you down. It was only 400, but...
I also appreciate how every shot from behind, you can see how many ships they got just floating around waiting.
Well, that's the CGI. I mean, you paid for it.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of the same effect that happens in, say, Macross, when you don't actually say how many ships there are, but you imply it by blotting out the stars behind everybody.
Yep. And they name dropped Odin. Yeah, this is going to be another German thing. Once again, we're back to Xenoblade. Yeah, they're dating. Leonidas. Story checks out. Possibility of fraud is 0. That's what I keep telling people.
Fraud is not something I look for in my scouts.
I love how they're nervous.
Because I think the expectation is that they would retreat, right?
Yeah.
Who would go into a fight like this?
I mean, you could get yeah, even though we outnumber them, you could still get killed.
Well, I don't know who we is in this situation. Remember, these guys right here are being outnumbered and by 3 different groups.
Right, but I mean, like, I meant the Free Planets guys. It's like, you could still get, even though you're in the Free Planets and you outnumber them 2 to 1, you could still get blown up. So any possibility of violent conflict is when we get killed.
Well, you also saw that they're jamming all transmissions, right?
Yeah, which is a thing they do in shows.
So the fact that they've broken them up into 3 different formations, now they can't communicate with each other.
Right, well, why didn't they like, so they didn't know that the Empire has this technology? I mean, that's what's weird about it. They like talk like, oh, I never thought they would just jam us.
I don't know, it could be a matter of complacency.
You think
people being elevated above their station?
It would be nice if, like, they mention, like, this is technology we haven't seen before. It's like, I never thought they would just jam us.
I mean, if I had to guess, I'd assume both sides have the same tech.
But, like, right here they just mentioned, okay, because we're jammed, we can't turn on our shields.
Did they say that?
They just said shields incomplete.
Oh, I think they just didn't expect to get into a fight.
They saw them!
I know. I mean, if I had a takeaway, it'd be that this admiral is not very good.
I know, he's not. It's like, wow, they're coming right at us. Well, I hope they don't shoot. Oh my god, they shot at us!
Well, yeah, the other ship's shield was up, so clearly I just don't think that their shields were up, that's all.
Yeah, it's just... You saw them coming. You saw they weren't retreating. What did you think was going to happen? It's kind of like, yeah, I can see why they made that the Excellency their commander. His strategy was, what if instead of losing, we won? Yep. Not only do we find a two-dimensional plane, but we also sink, because, you know, that's how space works.
I mean, they must recognize that it's a three-dimensional plane. Well, we saw the three different planes.
They are spreading out. They are spreading out like Homeworld, so I do appreciate that.
Yeah, they also have to spread out in a degree that they don't... You see that they're firing a barrage, right? They can't shoot themselves in the back with the ships in the back, so they have to...
Yeah. They should be, as much as their talk of spread out, that was not very spread out for three forces.
No, I think we only saw one of them.
Yeah.
They've gone one-on-one with one of the forces.
Yeah, because they hit the jam button. Apparently, this is a technology they've always had.
I think the more damning thing is to assume that nobody else is watching their scanners or anything. You don't...
Yeah.
Jamming the other people's communication doesn't mean much. If the other guys are watching what's happening.
I mean, they can see this, right? Or like, they're forgetting about the keep alive signal. It's kind of like, hey, we were talking to them and now we're not. That's not a good sign.
If I remember correctly, there is something at play with, like, the massive distances between the ships that wasn't being shown.
Well, except massive distances we can see each other.
I don't know that we can. Again, I think we're only seeing one fleet at a time.
No, it's, like I said, it's still a little silly and then we just hit the jam button and killed them.
Yeah, see, there you go. They're attacking the middle fleet right now. It's hard to tell what the distance is between the middle fleet and the other two.
I get yours. Our intentions. Your intentions to attack?
I guess by that you would mean their tactic.
Of attacking.
Yeah.
I mean, they divided into three formations so they could do a Scipio offense, and then didn't do it.
It really feels like they just didn't anticipate the Empire with its smaller force to rush in and attack them.
Right, which they should have anticipated, because...
It feels like they anticipated a retreat, because I think you said at the very beginning, this is exactly how we lost all of our forces their last attack.
Yeah, I mean, it's the typical anime thing of they're just representing this as the most brilliant maneuver ever, but it's like...
See, they know that they're fighting the Fourth Fleet right now.
There should be doubt. Your communications are jammed.
I guess without communications, that's the one thing you wouldn't be certain of.
No, if you call them and ask, are you alive, and you don't get an answer, you would know. That's how that works.
Right, but I mean, for all you know, the Fourth Fleet could be winning, too.
They would tell you they were winning.
Not if they were still being jammed. We don't know how much does the Empire ships have to be alive to keep the jam up?
If you're... And Tactics 101 here, if your opponent's being jammed and you don't know their status, they're probably being killed. you should go in. They're probably in a hostile. You should go engage.
They said that. They said we're currently rushing
Yeah.
towards the 4th fleet. The 2nd fleet should be doing the same.
Right. Well, then this is also the weird thing of they divided into 3 different. So their tactic was they divided into 3 different groups, but so they would be outnumbered by the enemy fleet, but at such distances that they couldn't rendezvous fast enough to bail each other out if any one of them were attacked. That makes no sense.
I don't think that's the case. I think they're just
That is
three. I think they're 3 independently operating fleets that are on the same mission. They're not one massive fleet that broke up into 3 fleets.
Well, while I could agree with you, that's not how they're representing it. So I could agree with you that maybe that's what they meant, but the way they're doing this is they're representing our leader as, hey, what if I just did asymmetric warfare? No one would ever think of asymmetric warfare. I mean, as soon as the jamming started, everyone should have been on full alert. We lost contact with the 4th fleet.
Well, no, I think they were. That's why, despite this dude here being an idiot and eating dinner instead of paying attention, he did say, we are turning around to engage with the 4th fleet, and the 2nd fleet should be doing the same, even though they had no communications.
Right, well then, Excellency here, when he was describing it, shouldn't have just said, well, we'll just engage them. Like he never said, by the way, we could kill all the 4th fleet before anyone could come rescue them. So I agree with you, that's a brilliant strategy.
I don't think that's what he did either. I think it was said while we were discussing something else, that he said leave all the surviving ships where they are, and then they turned to engage this other fleet before they could turn to engage them. So they've done like a hit and run, taken out the command of the 4th fleet, and then rushed off to the other fleet, which is on a far side with the other fleet, so the other fleet can't keep up with them.
That's the problem. What you're saying is they can't. So in other words, they divided their 3 guys far enough apart that if someone attacked one of them, the other 2 could not arrive in time to bail them out.
Right, because they were going to do some sort of surrounding motion.
Right. Which, while I agree that it's good for our Excellency here to take advantage of that, no one's saying that out loud in the anime. Like, no one's saying, like, we've lost contact with the 4th fleet, we better go bail them out, we'll never get there in time. Or the Excellency never says, haha, they'll never get there in time.
Oh, no, the guy,
just says,
the guy at the dinner said that.
Well, they waited until the guy at the dinner said, and then also the guy at the dinner didn't say we wouldn't get them in time. He said, well, we'll go bail them out.
No, I think the guy at the dinner is trying to be shown to be incompetent.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the guy who said, if I'm incompetent, I'd rather be incompetent than a coward. No, I'm with you on that.
Well, no, I mean, I think he's the one that's saying, we'll make it there in time, they're probably fine. And it's his second in command, which is sowing the doubt.
Right, the second in command is pointing out we're totally screwed. But, you know, we could, like... See, I promised I wasn't going to be a hater. So, so far we've set up the rampant ageism in this, where all of the young people know how to fight and all the old people don't.
Oh, I don't know. We had that discussion with the guys in the beginning.
Yeah.
Not the one that said retreat is obviously not being shown in that way that you said, or no, he is being shown in the way you said. There was the other guys, the old aged guys that we saw on the tram that were discussing how these were good ideas and which ones were bad ideas. It was literally split in half.
Okay, I will give you that, but so far we had the Excellency says, hey, all the old people are going to be surprised when I say we should attack and win, and then we're going to attack and win.
I think that's just a misread. I think he's literally referring to like the old guard and not the old people.
Well, if you go back and watch the footage, notice he's a baby-faced teenage boy, and the old guard are all gray-haired, mushy old people like me.
Again, it was one of the old guard on the train, one of the old men on the train that was agreeing with him that this was a good idea.
No, the guy on the train, like, it's not universal agreement, but I'm talking about when our general here addressed his troops. Like, he even said before you go up there, the old guard isn't gonna like this. And then we have, like, the guy who says, I'd rather be incompetent than a coward. His second in command, who's, like, second guessing him, is clearly younger. But once again, this is a young adult anime. You're supposed to relate to the characters. Every young adult can relate to older people being idiots.
さすがだな。
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying, oh my god, what is with his ship?
It's the flagship.
Yeah, I'm not the only one who sees that, right?
I think one of the last things that I ever mentioned when I was talking about this show before was that I think these ships are supposed to be storied. Like, they're supposed to be, like, old. That's why they're so built up and decorated and shit.
Well, I mean
There's a comment somebody makes eventually that's like, you don't want this to be the last story of the X fleet or something like that. Like, these are all...
No, I mean the shape of them, where it's a long flowing shape with a flared tip at the end, and then has two round structures at the bottom of it dangling underneath it.
Look, nothing will make our enemies sadder than when we beat up everyone with our penis fleet.
There we go. They're no match for our penis ships. Whereas I think their ships are supposed to be sleek and I'll say elegant. Whereas the Free Planets League, all of their ships are giant floating cereal boxes, which I think was a good contrast. It makes the Free Planets look like they're a lot more improvised and cheap, whereas these guys are old money. Oh, wow, you were not kidding.
About which part?
This cast is huge. Look at Eyebrows Guy.
No, this isn't even everybody. This is everybody you'll see in the opening, or the endings, rather, but this isn't everybody.
You mean there's two women?
Yeah?
Because you just notice in this lineup there's like one female character.
Well, it does a half and half thing. We're going left to right from Empire to the Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
Next episode, we'll go from right to left, where we'll go from the Alliance to the Empire. It tends to do that because the episodes tend to focus on one side versus the other.
Oh, the second female character.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Sure.
But our main characters are on either end, so that's Gang right there. And you had His Excellency, I think is what you keep calling him, on the other side.
Yeah.
Reinhardt and Yang.
So you can also tell it's a modern show because space is blue. Like, one thing that fascinates me is how in modern sci-fi, how space is no longer black. But it was black in the battle sequence, which was interesting.
Yeah, I think it's more of a matter of the decorative nature of the ending versus the... Well, I don't know. Don't know if I can say that about space in this show. Space is just weird. Kind of like when they show you the galaxy map, when we're doing that whipping around, looking at the planets of the three factions, and you saw that there's a weird purple thing that cuts the galaxy in half.
Yeah, the neutral zone.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know that it's just artistic. I think it's real.
It might be. I mean, I could see, if you had like a nebula, but we'll have to see when we get there.
Yeah.
I can get behind this Free Planets: liberty, sovereignty, autonomy, and dignity.
It was when I started this with Griff originally. That's the side that Griff sided with, so makes sense. It's here for you. You haven't seen the overlay because I have to change it to add your name to it instead of Griffin's. You're sitting above that guy that we just saw there at the very end, the guy who was putting his hat on. That's Yang. He's our main character on the Alliance side. Obviously, I've had myself drawn as the guy you saw sitting in the Golden Throne, because why wouldn't I?
Well, I mean, I would. So far, I think it is a solid opening. As much as I'm making fun of the broad strokes of young guy shows up and says, "What if we won the war? But how can we win? They outnumber us." Jam them. Genius. And then blow everyone up and then just kill them one by one asymmetrically. It's like, I mean,
I get the rush in. They won't expect that tactic of it, right? Because the idea is, all right, we'll blow away their middle, and before the other two sides can react, we'll pivot to the next side
Right. No, I mean, I'm totally with it. It was just the way they represented it, which was just guys showing up and effortlessly saying they would do it and then doing it effortlessly. That's a dramatic device because it shows our hero as powerful, whereas he is calm. He doesn't move a lot, which not only like makes him look powerful and in control, but also saves in the animation budget. Meanwhile, his enemies are screaming, "Big Shambus! Oh my God! I would rather die incompetent than as a coward!" And then everyone dies. It They do spend a lot of time animating a bunch of people standing around and talking, and while the battle sequences show stuff blowing up, they're like completely divorced. Like we didn't see anybody getting flung over a bulkhead. We didn't see people screaming. We didn't see people running to certain places or doing damage control. And when the ships exploded, it was a lot of things hitting them and flaring. It's not like, say, like Yamato, which I mentioned earlier, where they would show beams or missiles penetrating a ship, it breaking up, and then I guess the powder or the reactor explodes and then would explode. We didn't see a lot of those dramatic stuff. We just saw a bunch of missiles slamming into stuff. Even though it's got high production value, it didn't seem, the direction was lackluster.
I mean, I guess the most specific element of that would have been like when that one guy's bridge gets destroyed because you see the thing explode in front of it and it slams through and then all the glass shatters or whatever.
Right. I mean, we did see that. I'm not saying they didn't do nothing.
As opposed to like the visual of, say, in Gundam, I think Origin does this, where the red comet will fly up in front of a ship, fire like a rocket at it. You'll see the rocket penetrate, and you'll see everybody look up as this thing just breaks through the hull, explodes in front of them, shattering everything around them and killing them all. It's a more dramatic death, and it shows a lot more things in play. Whereas I think here it's just the mass of numbers at play, right? You're supposed to be seeing a lot of shit dying, and not so much, there's no specific element, because our main characters that we know of are on the other side, not getting killed.
Right. I mean, I'm a lot of this I would describe as functional. They set it up. They set it up well. I already know the principles. I know the difference between the Empire and the Free Planets, and I know the characterization of many of the characters, and we'll see it later. I mean, it's got that kind of mini-series functionality to it. Like, everything I've seen here, I've seen somewhere else, but better. So I'm not saying this is terrible. I'm saying this is inauspicious.
I would say that if you were going to judge this show, and I know this is a horrible way to put it because it's one of those give it a season things, but that's not what I'm meaning to say. I would say give it 3 episodes.
Oh yeah, no, I'll see some more.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying that before you actually finalize a judgment or you start really weighing in on stuff. The first 2 episodes I always feel like are, hey, this is what one side is like, and now let's see what the other side is like. And it's only until like episode 3 that we actually get into, now here's how we're going to start telling this story, now that you know what everyone's like.
Well, you know me. I always say that anime is like sex. We have to do it for 55 minutes at least before we can know if it's any good or not.
Well, that's what the foreplay is for.
As foreplay goes, this was once again functional. It's good for an off night. So the production looks good. Like I said, I've seen 19th century imperialism or World War I Germanic theming before. The character designs are, I mean, they look good, but they're kind of everything about this looks good. I am definitely on board for more episodes. It also, I did appreciate that they are trying to stay true to those old school roots. But once again, we were already making fun of the holograms and that kind of stuff. Everything about this, it screams high production miniseries. So, I'm on board.
All right. Well, you have any other final wrap-up thoughts before we end for the day?
I hope in the next episode a female character gets a speaking line.
We'll see. We will see. Anyways, this has been Stoneface Reactions. Once again, I am Theta. This is Rafferty, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?